Another little interesting thing we've got for you. As you know, each year at Intense we have the Via Beata, which is an art pilgrimage which stretches from the far easterly part of the UK to the far westerly part. And every year they come to Intense, and everyone has the opportunity to work on a little art installation that may end up as part of a church somewhere in the country. So over to you, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Adam, and hello to all our lovely intenters. This is Steve from the Via Beata, and I want to show you a little task that I'd like 25 of you to be involved with. I'm going to show you this, but I understand that if you click on a link somewhere below this picture, you should be able to pick this up. I'll show you this now. This is a picture of Noah receiving the dove back into the ark, and you'll be able to see that it's divided up into 25 squares. What we'd like you to do, and it's first come, first served, if you'd like to be involved, then choose one of the squares, and that's your square. What you will need to do is draw it much bigger, and you need to draw it 300 millimeters square, 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. And what I want you to do is, working on a piece of something fairly firm, like a piece of heavy card or a piece of plywood, what I want you to do is to make a representation of what is in that square on this main picture. And I'll tell you different ways you can do that as we go along. But what we're going to do with these is, each of those squares, you will end up with a square that's 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, and it will have on it, I'll show you an example in a moment just so you can see what we're talking about. It will have on it a large version of the little square that you have chosen. Now you'll have to register your choice with Adam by the magic of some digital stuff, so that we don't all do the same square. I hadn't explained that to Adam before, but he knows now. And then when you've completed your square in full Technicolor, then what we'd like you to do is to photograph that and send the photograph to Adam. He will assemble digitally the whole picture, but we'd also like you to hang on to your original piece of artwork, because we would like to collect them over this coming, what should we say, 9 months or so. If you can get them to Adam over the next weeks, we will actually assemble the whole artwork in real life, so that next year when you come to Intense, it can be hanging on the wall of the barn. Now, different ways in which you can represent your square, lots of different ways. You could simply paint it with acrylic or oil color, something really robust. If you have only got watercolors, you can do it like that, but don't make it all faint and feeble, and you're going to have to varnish it or something to stop it. Remember, it's going to have to end up in the barn where there's lots of bird poo and all sorts of stuff, and it's got to withstand all that. So lots of different ways that you can do these squares. And I'll just show you one that I've done, and it's this square here, and they're all numbered and lettered. So that particular square is C1, and I've interpreted it like this. So I've used, this is sky, so I've just cut out bits of blue from a magazine picture and made the sky. And similarly, the top edge of the sun, I've just realized there's one piece missing on this, which is the end of a letter, which I've forgotten. It should be here somewhere. But then with the bits of the ark, I've actually made them out of bits of wood and put a real peg in, and that's a bit of wood, and that's a bit of wood. This is not bits of wood. These are pictures of bits of wood from a magazine, and I just stuck them in there. So really, you can use anything, but just remember it's got to last. It's got to be fairly robust. So make it good and make it strong. Lots of different ways that you can interpret your square, and I've got a little list of ideas here. You could do it as a collage, which I've done there, although that's really more of a montage, really. You could do it with magazine pictures, tear them up and use those as colour. You could do it with bits of fabric, bits of cloth, colourful bits, and just choose them, stick them onto a piece of board. You could do the thing as a montage, as this is sort of a bit of both, really, partly collage and partly montage. You could do it with bits of scraps of wood, metal, plastic, all sorts of things. If you've been involved with the Via Beata thing in the past and you've actually done carving, you could actually, if you can get hold of a few tools, you could actually do a nice relief carved square. Choose your square carefully so it's something you think you can cope with. You could make it out of clay, although you will have to treat that with PVA or something like that to hold it together. You could make it in clay or plasticine and then make a cast of it in plaster of Paris. That's another way. You could do it with papier mâché. And as I say, you could just do a straightforward painting, but do it with something robust. Now, there's only one rule about the colours. At the moment, the design is in black and white. And I've just coloured alternative squares so that you could see the difference between one square and another. So use what colours you like on everything. If you tend to be the sort of person that uses wacky colours like Kandinsky, then go for it. But I'd like us to, if you're doing Noah, just make sure that his coat and hat are in green. Now, you won't have the same green as someone who's doing the next square. That doesn't matter. That'll all add to the interest of it. So apart from that, you can use whatever colors you like. Obviously the hands will need to be sort of fleshy color, and his face, but the letters, do whatever color you like, and go for it. And I think this will be a really wonderful piece that we will be able to use. And the other issue is that we're hoping to make an artwork based on this particular subject, and I'm hoping that some of the ideas you come up with will be an inspiration to us at the Via Beata. So we look forward to seeing it coming together and one day complete. So thank you, Adam. Thank you, everybody.